when you have Christ at the center of your relationship, you operate how he tells you to operate.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he is telling you that the number one thing that you need to do is you need to love God and then love others. Well, what does that look like? What does it look like to love God? If you love God, then that flows naturally into loving others. And so it just made me think like, well, what is the standard? What is the standard that we live by? And Christ being the center of our relationship, like that's our standard.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we operate. And so
it gives us a moral standard. It gives us a compass, a guide. You know what I mean? And I think without any principles to stand on, then I feel like there's no accountability, right? And also, I believe that there are a lot of marriages that maybe say that they love God or know God or have accepted God into their lives, but they're not operating by the principles of what that looks like. And I think that is what keeps us safe in our marriage, is by having these
I don't think
principles.
they know what you hit. She hit
I'm sorry. It's
hit our
the Bible
here. Yeah.
Get my Philip Anthony. You know how he be on the pulpit? So happened the Bible. But no, seriously. It is a guide. And so I think having that those principles to stand on has tremendously helped our marriage. And
Still do. We still do. We still do. We still do. After all this time at the altar, I alter my mind and vow to God I love you till he make his return. The rain should be the least of your concern. Under God's umbrella, I promise to provide and preserve his word and to serve your mind and spirit. Let me drive the boat. I promise I'ma steer it. The devil cannot get near it. You'll know this soon as you hear it. You need me, I need you. Even after the altar, we still do.
welcome back to another episode of We Still Do. We are your hosts. My name is Lena.
I'm Jermaine.
My handsome husband. Whether you are newlyweds or decades in, We Still Do is for you.
Yes, it is. Listen, if you like what you've been hearing or you knew whatever, like, share, subscribe, get this out there because we really want to help marriages thrive. We truly believe that you don't have to just survive or go through the motions, that you can actually have a blissful marriage.
Yes.
And it is actually possible for you.
Yes. And make sure you hit that notification button. We have new episodes every Thursday. Okay.
Every Thursday.
You don't want to miss it.
Not every
Go
first
ahead
Thursday.
And commit.
Not every second Thursday. Every Thursday of the month.
That's right.
We got something that'll take you through the whole week.
Yep.
We got you.
We got you. How you doing, handsome?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm feeling wop-tabulous.
What does that even mean?
It means I'm feeling great.
Wowzers. All right.
I'm feeling great. You know what?
I'm sorry, guys.
I really want to go to Burger King.
Wow. I already know where you're going to go with this dad joke, so just go ahead, get it out of your system.
I want to get a Whopper.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. You have to see what I have to do with. You know what? I'm not sorry. Share some of that with them.
Listen, if you're curious about what I'm talking about, put a comment in the chat.
Okay, in the chat.
And I'll respond back to you.
Anyways, I'm doing well. I'm a little under the weather. You can hear it, the congestion. Mm-hmm. And so y'all just bear with me because I'm going to sound real nasally in this episode. But we're going to get through it.
We're going to get through it.
Mm-hmm. Tell them what we're talking about.
You tell us what we're talking about.
Wow. Okay. So we were talking and we were like, it'd be cool to do an episode where we share our 5 must-haves, like habits that we do in our marriage. And so that's kind of how this conversation is going to flow.
Yeah. And so I'll even just kick it off like this.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is real bad. Today, we are going to talk about 5 must-have habits that we have in our marriage that we swear by has helped us to have a thriving and a healthy marriage. And so we think it'd be beneficial. Get your pens and papers out. Take notes. Maybe some of these you can implement. Maybe you can create your own and get some ideas. But we're going to share what works for our marriage, right? Every marriage is different. Yeah. So this has helped us.
And really, the point that we really want to drive home is you need to have habits for your marriage.
For sure.
If you don't have habits, if you don't have something that you are building your marriage off of, a foundation for your marriage, then it's hard to know where you're going if you're just sporadic and just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we want to go. So we want to help you build habits today. And so we just want to share some of ours that maybe can help you or can generate some ideas for you for your marriage. So
And so my husband is shamelessly wearing our Love.
oh,
That is the
shameless
name
plug.
of our marriage ministry.
Yeah.
And when we started it, we had our slogan was a thriving marriage is for you. And we absolutely stand by that 10 toes down. We still believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what the Lord dealt with me about and what kind of took a little switch in our ministry was that you can't even thrive in marriage, which is to grow in marriage, if you don't have a firm foundation that you're building on. And so the number one, I think, is having a Christ-centered marriage, because in order for you to thrive and to grow, you got to grow with the right standard.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of talked about this a little bit. Can you share what you as a therapist have realized as you are counseling couples?
Yes. One of the things that I realized is like couples come in, they're struggling, whatever. But some couples leave and still get divorced. I mean, when I think about like, man, like what is the standard for their marriage? Like do they have one? Do they understand like, okay, like this is our baseline. This is really how we operate in our relationship. And in my mind it was like, man, like what if they had a priority or a standard that Christ was at the center of their relationship? What would that look like? Is it different? When I understand that divorce in the um in the church in Christian marriages is just as high as in non-Christian marriages. But what if they truly held Christ as the standard? Like, I'm not talking about spiritual bypassing, like, your head so far in the clouds that you can't see the ground. Like, I'm not talking about like that. But when you have Christ at the center of your relationship, you operate how he tells you to operate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he is telling you that the number one thing that you need to do is you need to love God and then love others. Well, what does that look like? What does it look like to love God? If you love God, then that flows naturally into loving others. And so it just made me think like, well, what is the standard? What is the standard that we live by? And Christ being the center of our relationship, like that's our standard.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we operate. And so
it gives us a moral standard. It gives us a compass, a guide. You know what I mean? And I think without any principles to stand on, then I feel like there's no accountability, right? And also, I believe that there are a lot of marriages that maybe say that they love God or know God or have accepted God into their lives, but they're not operating by the principles of what that looks like. And I think that is what keeps us safe in our marriage, is by having these
I don't
principles.
think they know what you hit. She hit.
I'm sorry. It's
hit our
the Bible
here. Yeah.
Get my Philip Anthony. You know how he be on the pulpit? So laughing the Bible. But no, seriously. It is a guide. And so I think having that, those principles to stand on has tremendously helped our marriage and helped us to be able to grow. There's times where I can go to the Lord before I come to you and I can pray about things, or you're convicted of things and you'll come to me and repent, or I'll come to you and forgive, or it tells you what love is, right? Love is patient. It is kind. It's not jealous. It's not envious. We have all these things that is a standard to which we operate off of. So even in Amos 3:3, it says, can two walk together unless they agree? And so there has to be an agreement. I believe that foundationally, if you want your house to last, right, it can't be built on sand. It has to have a firm foundation, and the husband holds the house together. It needs to be founded on something. And so for us, that's the Lord. And I think that has tremendously allowed us to have a healthy marriage, and also healthy conflict, and also healthy communication, and also healthy intimacy, both emotionally and all the ways, because it has been the guardrails to keep us on this narrow path of what that looks like to have a healthy, godly marriage.
So what does that look like in real time for you? Like when we talk about Christ being the center of our relationship, What does that look like for you?
On a day-to-day?
Yeah.
I think it's us stewarding individually our relationships with God, in terms of our individual devotion, our prayer time, our study time. I think that's number one. And then also how we steward that together. And so what that looks like for us is time to pray. We pray together every day. We'll do a Bible study every now and then. We'll do devotionals together. I think it's us discussing things according to the standard. Whether it be we just had to deal with conflict and the Lord revealed something to you, but it was based off of scripture. Like, no, you were processing something in your head and you had to bring me in on that process because you were like, okay, it tells me in the word, I need to go to you and then bring my offering. And so if it wasn't for that, I feel like that is practically how we live that out.
Yeah. And I think another way to keep Christ at the center is being a disciple. And so
Absolutely.
being a disciple, is this follower of Jesus. And when he says in, I believe it's in John, but he says to love me is to obey me.
Yeah. Ooh,
And so if you say that you love, then there is an action tied to that. Yeah. And so if Christ is at the center of your relationship, then your actions show that. So if he says, let me just bring it out. I know in John, I believe it's John 6:29.
Go ahead, Bible scholar.
I ain't gonna say scholar. No. John 6:29. Where is it? Okay, so this group of people came to him. They said, then they say to him, what must we do to be doing the works of God? Jesus answered them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent. And so part of the work that we're doing is to believe in him, believe in Jesus. And that is spending time with him. That is being in our word. That is when he says something about his nature or his character, like really trying to believe that and allowing him the space within you to allow that to show up in your marriage. Because, for example, one of the things that he's been dealing with me about personally is I'm a little bit more selfish than I like to put off. And I'll and I'll share it like this. He convicts me by observing you.
Okay.
He
Elaborate.
does. So you are very, very careless, or not careless. You're very caring.
Oh, I was like, what?
And you constantly put others before yourself. You're constantly doing for your kids. You're constantly thinking, how can I love them better? How can I, make this happen for them? Like, how can I, serve my husband? How can I, you're constantly like putting others before yourself. And so something as simple as like, let's just say you'll make me breakfast and you might not eat just because you might be fasting or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. If we're in a rush to get out the door, you'll make me oatmeal and be like, oh, I don't have time. Like, I'll just eat when we get back. Me, I'm like, I'll make me oatmeal. And when I get in the car, I'll be like, oh, dang, like I didn't make her none. Like, honey, do you want this?
Do you want
I
this?
made you oatmeal. But it's just the tendency to consider somebody else first. And so I just remember like, and I'm going to read this too, because I want to make sure I get it. I don't want to butcher it. But I remember he shared this scripture with me about being, about not being like selfish. And so it's Philippians 2, I believe it's like 3 and 4. And it says, Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. And
That's
so
good.
practically what it looks like to keep Christ at the center is doing just that. How can I allow the conviction that he's placed in my heart about me being selfish and I need to consider others' needs more important than my own? How can I do that in our marriage?
Mm.
And so practically in a small moment of like, okay, like we got extra money that came in. What are we gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? We didn't like it's not in the budget. You know, it's like, okay, well, you prepping for this marathon, but then your wife's birthday is also coming up.
Choose
Are
wisely
you
this
going to
day.
get, the shoes that you want, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, for the marathon, or are you going to take your wife to the beach?
Beach, please.
And so it's like, okay, in that moment, that's what it looks like for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, God, like, and the crazy part is like I was praying, like, God, like, create in me this pure heart. Make my heart like yours. Help me see people how you see people. And the first thing he told me is stop being selfish.
Ooh. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Let me go and reveal what's in your own heart. I think that's a great point because practically that's what I think fasting has done for me. It's revealed the stuff in my own heart, like the junk in my own heart. You come face to face, like with the mirror of what is in you that is not like God. You were saying that it's believing as disciples. And I think to take it a step further, it's also as you're following him, it's being a doer and obeying, as you said, as disciples we do, but it's also application, right? And it applying what you're learning as a follower, then it's also you're becoming more like him.
Mm-hmm.
So you believe and then you reflect. So we're called to reflect him here in the earth. And so I believe all the things that's in our hearts that's like, ooh, that don't look like, ooh, that's not you, Christ, in doing that, it allows us to be better spouses for one another as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what happens when you have that standard. It's like this is the standard. Like consider others more important than yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like humility, because naturally we do want to 2-year-olds. Like this is mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
True,
Like,
though.
and it's just natural for most people. But when you have the standard, it's like, okay, this is what like I've called you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we live by that, and the constant trying to work through that is what helps us, really strive to keep our marriage Christ-centered.
And I think this is worth saying. It's not just something that you build on, right? Like foundationally, Christ is foundationally, but actually build with. So as we're building and growing, we consider him in all things in which we're doing, and it kind of ties into that standard. But the second thing that we do, what is it, honey?
We have house meetings.
We do have house meetings. I didn't know where you were gonna go, so I was just like,
I mean, you have the list on your phone. You can easily.
oh, I know the list, but we have house meetings, and we have our house meetings once a month, and I think that it has been vital. It helps us to plan, right? We start with appreciations, which I love, and we share like some things that we appreciated that we've done for the other person throughout the month. I love that part, the gratitude. And then we move into what are maybe some challenges that we saw, ways we can improve on, right? And from there, we move into how can I support you?
Mm-hmm.
We go over upcoming events for the month, like make sure we got everything on calendar and in both of our calendars of what we're going to be doing. And then we cover any actionable steps or goals we have so we can hold each other accountable. And then we go over financial budget in our spreadsheet and like, what does this look like and how are we going to divvy up our money financially. And I think it's really been helpful for one, keeping us on the same page about all the things and all of those areas that we're covering. But I love that we don't start with the hard stuff. We start with appreciation. We move on to the challenges. Like, we're on the same page, right?
Mhm.
And there's no decision that's made without consulting one
Right.
another.
But nah, you on point with that, and I think that helps us partly keep our sanity.
For sure.
Especially when you think about having littles and really wanting to be strategic with how you manage money, how you know
You manage time.
how you manage time, and even how you manage relationship
Yeah.
as well. Because it's really like doing the house check is really just like a thermometer check for our marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we need to talk
Yep.
about? What do we need to change? We do gratitude. We also do areas where we need to improve or where we need more support.
Mm-hmm.
And in
Personal
that,
goals too. I
and
don't think I
personal
said
goals
that.
for the
Yeah.
month. And in that, it lets us know what we need to focus on, because being honest, like, I need the one thing that's going to move the needle for me this month when it comes to our marriage.
Yeah.
So if you tell me, like, honey, I need you to be more intimate. I just need you to touch me more. I need you to, I don't know, when you hug me, I need you to rub my back, grab my butt, like,
All that.
whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to do more of that, and that would make the most difference
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Yeah.
Like, I remember having a conversation with a couple, and um they don't talk about none of that stuff. And it was a couple that was getting ready to get married, and I remember telling them, like, y'all need to have these conversations, because if you don't, like, y'all are spontaneous when y'all doing y'all thing, in the bedroom now, but when it comes time and you have kids and you're doing all the things and it gets busy, and now one of you are taking it personal because the other is not in the mood, and now it's affecting your self-esteem. Like, in those moments, you can take that and pull away from your spouse or pull away from your partner. And so having those conversations are important, especially for us, especially for me to know, like, okay, this is the budget, this is the bills, like, this is what I like. Okay, like, I need to go out and make things happen. Like, it gives me a aiming point for what we need to cover this month.
It is a good temperature check. I like how you said that for our marriage. Yeah, I think it's been really, really good. We're just keeping us on the same page. And the third thing that we do is date nights,
Okay,
which
go
are my
ahead.
favorite.
Talk about it.
I love date nights. We do date nights weekly,
Mhm.
and Friday nights are date nights. And one rule I think worth mentioning is we don't have our phones on, like, if we go to dinner or something, but we like to switch it up. It depends on the week. If it's been a hard week, there's times where we just want to go to movie, right? We may do dinner where we can talk. We may do something that's more active, like bowling or Dave and Buster's. We've done quite a bit of things. So what has been your favorite date that we've gone on?
Home dates with no kids.
Really? Why? Like sex dates?
Sex dates.
Is this the only thing on your mind, sir?
Depends the time of day you ask me.
Okay.
No, seriously. I think probably I think my most enjoyable dates, I think, is when we do something new.
Okay.
And go to the movies. And then also the
movies aren't new, but that's in addition to doing something new?
In addition.
Okay.
But also the home dates.
Okay.
Yeah. I can elaborate on why the home dates are, like, my thing.
Yeah, please. Yeah, sure.
Okay, the home dates are my thing because when we get to be at home with no kids,
it's rare.
And we get to be by ourselves with no other people in the house, and we can wear what we want to wear
or not,
or choose not to wear what we don't want to wear.
Yeah.
Be anywhere we want to wear.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Okay. No, so I just enjoy it because spending time with you is just, like, one of my favorite things. Not only, like, are you kind of funny,
don't play.
but
go ahead and share with the people.
You are just also someone who just enjoys time.
Yeah. That's my love language, quality time.
Yeah, like you enjoy that time,
Hmm.
and I don't know, just enjoy it.
I love being able to get creative and like do new things, like you were saying. Um, I remember you planned a date night because usually I'm the planner. That's just who I am. But there's been a few times where you surprised me,
Mm-hmm.
and you took us to like the museum locally, and it's like we'd never
Mm-hmm.
been, and it's like right here in our town. But I felt like tourists in our own town. And then I think you took me to a new coffee shop, and then we went on a trail and went for a walk. Like it doesn't have to be super expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've also loved the home dates because I know some people do have kids and that is an issue. And so we would put the kids to bed and then we would do our date nights. And if it was binge watching a show or if it was staying up, we have conversation starter cards. Like we would go over some of those. I think one of my favorites is we took a bath together, which is really dope because we just got to sit face to face and just talk. And you know that's my thing.
Yeah.
We had candles and rose petals and the whole thing, and it was a vibe. But you could do game nights at home. Like it doesn't have to like pull out the board games. Those have been some of the funnest times. Or we've done like karaoke, like just random things. But we do like to go eat, try new places when we go out to eat. But Friday date nights are essential. Couples specifically, married couples, find a greater marriage satisfaction when they go on date nights. They have a stronger friendship. They have better intimacy. And I think
Bruh, just say the word sex, bruh.
sex. They have better
Just say
sex.
it, just say it again, cause say it again.
Sex.
Just get comfortable with
I'm
saying
comfortable with saying it. That's
like
not an issue for
you
me.
might as well say like adult wrestling.
Okay, it builds the emotional connection. Adult wrestling. You're silly. It builds the emotional connection too. And so yeah, I love that. And for us with like just busy weekly schedules and having kids, it's like a time to like unplug that's just for us to be alone and spend time together. So I look forward to them and like let us miss one, which is rare that we do. But if we miss one, I'm like, hello, I need some. I need a date.
You be trying to put 2 in 1 week if you miss it.
Sure do. I did and will.
Yeah, and I also think like because we prioritize that and that's essential, like it does strengthen our friendship, which also decreases the sting of conflict.
Ooh, okay.
And so think about it when we have issues, and where like we can tell the difference from when we have actively, intentionally built our friendship or worked on our friendship, spending time together versus weeks when we don't or we haven't. Like when we have conflict and we haven't, like it lingers a little bit longer. We're a little bit more harsher. We're a little bit more sharper. And it's like when we go on date nights, it's like, okay, like you my friend, like I ain't gonna sit here and just shoot all these bullets at you. And you know what I'm saying? Just it's like I'm gonna actually no, we're not gonna use real ones. We're going to use like the little Nerf guns.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you ain't shooting nothing at me.
I mean, you get what I'm saying, like obviously. But my point is like it softens the blow of conflict, and it's not as hard to have the conversations. Like you're more prone to extend grace. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it, like if it's somebody that you enjoy being with, enjoy being around, then you know you're going to do what it takes to kind of keep the relationship growing and active. And so I think it's just like a great buffer for conflict too.
Another thing that I thought about, which ties into the fourth one, which is communication. It ties into the fourth one.
Swallow that.
I don't know what is in my. It's so bad.
It's mucus.
It's gross. The fourth one is communication, and I think what ties into that is one of the things that buffering between, not buffering, but just bridging date night to communication is we ask each other, like, how's your love tank? And it's a question that we ask and check in, like, okay, having these date nights is deposit into our love bank, I guess I would say. And so when, like you said, it's the buffer for conflict, like there's something that we can withdraw from that it ain't gonna leave us in the red, in the negatives. You know what I mean? Because we have been depositing these I guess date nights or these moments into the love bank. Does that make sense? It made sense in my head, but I don't know how it's coming out.
It makes sense because you're saying like when we do those things, it's like building up the account.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, I don't know, basic terms, like putting $1 in. Every time we do it, it's like putting $1 in,
Yeah.
putting $1 in, putting $1 in. And then in moments where it's like, oh, we had conflict, that might deduct like $2, but we still got money left over.
Correct.
That makes
Because
sense.
we've been intentional about putting in. So the fourth one is communication. And one of the things that we've done even before we had kids is dinner debriefs. We have the no phone zones. One of them is our bedroom. One of them is when we go on date nights. The other one is going to be when we have dinner and we put our phones away. And in this time, we just talk about our day. Like, how was your day today? What's going on? Like, it keeps us connected to what's going on in each other's world. And I feel like it's so easy if you're not making time to intentionally communicate, then you could be like two ships passing in the night.
Mhm.
Like, y'all doing your own thing, y'all in your own lanes, and there is nothing that's keeping you guys, connected.
Yeah.
And so I think that has become something that we're now bringing our kids into. They're still little young and not as talkative, but
And not eating as much, wasting my food.
yeah, that too. But I think it's something that I love that we do, because it's like, I want to hear about, so much happens in your day and in my day, and then we get to still discuss it. And the other part is going to be our mornings. You want to touch on that?
Yeah. I was just going to say, I didn't know if you had that as one of the 5, but
Well,
yeah,
it ties into communication.
it
Yeah.
does. So I was going to say it, but I held back because I didn't know. But yeah, just that, because the day gets so busy, and I think we started doing mornings because when we are at night, you've noticed, like, I don't have as much capacity
Yeah.
as you would like, because like you're just so excited. I'm home. We get to finally talk because I'm seeing clients all day and
You're
I don't
drained.
have any energy.
Yeah.
And so you just started to notice like, bro, where you at? Because you obviously not here at this table,
Yeah.
or you're not here, when we, what is it called? Pillow talk.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
Pillow talk is when we talk at nighttime in the bed.
yeah. And so it was like, okay, well, what would be most effective? Like, when do you have that energy? And it was like, in the morning, because I'm not taking on everybody's problem and
Yeah.
holding the space for them in session. And so, like, in the mornings, we was like, okay, well, let's just dedicate 30 minutes.
It started with 10 minutes.
Yes, it did. You're right. It did start with 10. Let's just, every single day, we're going to commit to talk to 10. We're going to talk for 10 minutes before, we get our day started, before the kids get up. And so even with just 10 minutes, we started to notice like just a significant difference in just how we felt when it comes to like being
Connection,
in each
really.
other's world,
Yeah.
and really understanding. And so it went from 10 to 30. And so now it's like, in those 30 minutes, now it's like we talk, or we might pray, or the Lord dealt with us about something. So now we're doing a mini devotional,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Just to kind of share and reiterate what's going on in our hearts and in our minds. And so like those have become monumental for us because it's a way for us to strengthen our relationship, you know what I'm saying, in a consistent way, because we could definitely say like, yeah, we're not spending as much time, so let's just go ahead and do an hour and a half, even 2 hours, you know what I'm saying, because that would really make the biggest difference. Nah, it just take 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It really take 30 minutes, and we have our moments where we talk throughout the day, we might talk on my break, whatever, but the one thing that we're going to be consistent at is the mornings, and that has made
our
a huge,
dinners. Yeah. Dinner debriefs and our morning talks. Yeah. That really has. And we always pray, for sure. We always end with prayer. And I think that has been good because we pray, we cover obviously our marriage and our home and whatever else the Holy Spirit leads us to pray about. But I think couples that pray together, I mean, the statistics shows less than 1% of like couples who actually pray together get divorced. Less than 1%. So that tells you something right there. So we've definitely made praying together.
Stay together.
Yes.
Cheesy. And you like that. Ew.
Yeah. Anyways, and the fifth thing is intimacy. Intentional intimacy.
Okay.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Say the word.
Intentional sex.
Okay. You sound like a teenager.
Sex. Intentional sex time. Sexy time in the
We are
bedroom.
very intentional, and the way our life is set up right now, when we say intentional, we literally mean scheduling sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yes.
know there are people who are against it. If you are one of those couples who can do it sporadically and have a
And
healthy sex
consistently,
life,
yep.
do it.
Kudos to you.
Wherever you want to do it.
Just do it like Nike.
Listen, just do it.
Do it. Do
However
it.
you want to do it.
Do it.
Okay.
Okay,
so,
sorry. Wow. We're on one today. No, but seriously.
Yeah, so with scheduling it, like it works for us because like if I'm like just drained from listening to all the problems, and in my mind I'm like, dang, I'm tired and I gotta get up early because I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna spend time with y'all, we're gonna put the kids to sleep, we're gonna get in bed, cuddle, whatever, and I'm going to sleep. Like if that's my mindset, and then you roll over and say like,
Hey,
Hey.
daddy.
Nah. It's more like Mordecai.
You're so dumb.
Nah, but
Sorry, guys.
bruh, listen.
We're on a roll
That scene,
today.
listen, that scene stuck in my brain. Like, I don't remember nothing else. I don't even remember what movie that is. I literally just remember, like, the person massaging the dude literally was like Mordecai.
Oh my gosh.
Bruh. But anyway, so, like, if my mind is like, I'm preparing for tomorrow, and then, like,
Yeah.
you spring that on me, like, it's hard to, like, get in the moment. So, like, okay, it's Tuesday or it's Thursday. Like, we know what's coming. So it's a way for us to prep our minds. You know what I'm saying? So we even, do the
Little sexting throughout the day, build up anticipation, send a few photos. But I think there's like this misconception that scheduled sex is boring sex. And that's not the case.
It's
Because
not.
you can get real creative in all the different things
Hype
where your
me
mind
up.
can go with
Hype
that.
me up.
But I think it's being intentional, because if something is important to you, you make time. And I will never forget, as a single, I did the communications class that you actually tried to crash to join me in and didn't get in. I did like,
But did I really get in?
okay, the pros and cons.
Did I use communication to get in?
Oh my gosh.
Because you got 2 kids.
Focus.
Let's talk about it.
Focus. The pros and cons were being single or being married. And a lot that I was interviewing married couples, and a lot of them talked about how little sex they had. Like every 3 months, baby. They was like it was just crazy. And it's also one of the reasons that couples divorce. And I'm like, what's going on? And so what I realized is just not prioritizing that intimate time or sexy time or whatever you want to call it. Not prioritizing that really takes a hit on the marriage, because you can do things like connecting emotionally with date nights, right? And that's equally important. And that does, lead to the bedroom, right? Because it does start in the kitchen, the living room. We ain't just going straight bedroom. But I think that also...
Talk about like, emotional connection in the kitchen, in the living room. It don't just lead to the bedroom. Because some people can think like you literally just talking about like sex starts in the kitchen, sex starts in the living room, then we go to the bedroom.
Just meaning like it's in the little things. It's in the affirmation. It's in the physical touch. It's in that ain't going to lead to nothing else. It's in the talking and the communicating. All of those things makes the intimacy in the bedroom even better, right? You can't just think I'm like a light switch and you just going to turn me on and you've done nothing intimate-wise outside of that.
I take my shirt off.
Okay. Where was I going? You made me lose my whole you made me lose my whole train of thought.
You said like you're talking about the kitchen, the bedroom, like I can't just turn you on like a light switch, it has to be built up.
Yeah, but just being intentional. If something is important to you, then you will make time for it. And so I think scheduling it has worked for us, because what we realized is when we didn't have it scheduled, it was like, oh, wait, we're not really being as intimate as we would like. And so for us, we can't tell you how many times to do it. We discussed what we felt like was healthy for us, and then we scheduled that bad boy. So now it's like, okay, you know what day it is. We about to get it on and pop it.
Yeah.
And it's something that works for us, that we can be consistent and have a healthy sex life.
Yes.
And I think that is vital in any marriage.
It is
and
vital.
That's what I was going to say, because you could be intimate emotionally with conversation and date nights and all the things, but I think that is physical intimacy. So sex is physical, is emotional, right? Is spiritual. We coming together as one. But so you need all components. But I think the physical act of coming together as one, like the enemy be fighting that thing. And in the Bible, it tells you, like, don't abstain. Like, your body ain't yours. My body belongs to you. Your body belongs to me. Don't abstain unless you fasting and then you agree and you come back together.
Honey.
So the enemy don't get a foothold on a marriage. So
Honey.
I'm just saying, it got to be important. It's in the word.
Honey.
Yes.
I just want you to know you a thumb buddy.
We're about to wrap this up because the way this man is all...
You should have wrapped it up 2 kids ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me tell y'all.
No, because I want to make a point before you go
Okay.
I have a serious point.
Focus.
I am focused.
Somebody.
Focus on me. Okay, so...
I know where we're headed after this. Come on.
No, so even when you talk about sex, though, like I know, like we said it in several podcasts, and we'll probably continue to say it and continue to drive this point home. But the need to be friends, because friendship really strengthens all of that. Like
it does.
Like I think you can love somebody, not like them, and the sex not be great.
Ooh, you could say that again?
You can love somebody, but not like them.
Oh.
And the sex wouldn't be great.
Mm.
And I'm saying that because when you think about it, when you're friends with somebody, there is this vulnerability that you have with them to share like what's sacred to you, to share what's vulnerable to you.
You can be naked outside the bedroom.
Yes. And so if you remember, like there were things that I shared with you like year 3, year 4, year 5 in our marriage that I didn't share in the beginning.
Right.
And you noticed like an increase in our friendship as I did that.
Yeah.
Because now I shared something with you that I've been keeping to myself, and now I can trust you with that. And because I can trust you more, now I can open up more. And so when you think about couples who might not have a lot of sex, it's because some of them might not be talking about it.
Talks about sex. Not good sex.
Some of them...
That's probably first thing.
...might have conflict that makes them not want to have sex. And so you think about all the things that prevent, and if you're friends, you're able to talk about these issues. You're able to go to your friend and say like, bro, like, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
Like, are you able to go to your friend and be like, I don't like that. Or you know that thing you did? I do like that. Do more of that. Like just to...
Yeah, you're able to have those type of conversations, which also builds your intimacy, as you like to say. I like to say sex.
I know.
And
I'm a lady.
Just the need to really have those conversations, because if you don't have those conversations, like, and you avoid those, then that I think is an indicator on the level of friendship you have with your partner. And we know from research, a predictor of a strong marriage is a strong friendship.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can also say that a predictor of divorce is also a weak friendship. You know, you can use that vice versa. And so the need to work on the friendship builds, like just think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would it be like if your best friend was actually your spouse and not just a friend that you grew up with or a homegirl that stuck through it with you, you know, all in all? You know what I'm saying? Because you got best friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you and Shelly, like I'm talking about,
that's
like,
my dog.
Bro, I seen pictures of y'all back in the day, and oh my god, like,
hush,
like
honey.
I'm talking about, like I seen you in college, and I look back, and I'm like, whoa. But then, like in your hair,
I'm like, what are you saying? Hold on.
You listen, you had it back then too.
Okay, thank you.
But your hairstyle, like the outfit, like I look back, and I'm like, okay, my style, my taste has definitely changed in what I like. And so thinking about like what y'all looked like before that, the way y'all dressed was crazy.
We were very loud.
Y'all were.
Colorful, vibrant.
Like y'all have such a, like, I'm talking about you and her because y'all got years in this, and y'all got a really strong relationship.
Almost 2 decades.
And I can only imagine like it made me think of like, what would it be like for you to be open to her but not open to me?
Ooh.
Like you would share like all the problems you have with me to her, but never tell me.
Mm.
Like if you're more open to talk about your sexual relationship with me to her than to me.
Wow.
Like girl, he just can't.
Dang, that would be horrible.
And so imagine like not only what that does, it's like you're giving your intimacy, emotional
someone
intimacy
else.
to someone else and not your partner.
Wow, that's good, honey.
And so it makes sense why sex might not be what it should be, is because the very thing that's needed to increase intimacy, which is vulnerability, is not being shared with the person that you want to be in bed with.
Yeah.
And you sharing that with somebody else. And so like friendship is so important when it comes not just to your marriage, but also for your sexual relationship, because it increases it that much more. Like you mentioned it earlier, like being able to share, like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Or even oh well, like even like talking about like busting quick. You know what I'm saying? Like able to talk about it and laugh versus it being something that's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, no, we friends. Like we can talk about stuff like that. Like we can talk about critiques. We can talk about things we can do different. Like we can have all these conversations. And this also increases like, okay, if I want you to be more intimate, like in the bed, then I know that like I have to put in work outside. You know what I'm saying?
And I also want to say for my ladies where this is, you know, maybe an area of concern is for women, like it starts in here, right? Like we have to mentally be in the mood. Like I feel like men, they can like, you know, lights on, lights off when it comes to being intimate. But for women, we have to mentally be there. And if you have not poured into me emotionally or given me anything outside of the bedroom in terms of communication, loving me in the way that I receive, or whatever the case may be, then it will feel like we're just a body to you. To where like
An
you're
object.
literally, yeah, like we're just an object. And that is the worst feeling from your spouse, to like feel like you just want me from my body because you're not giving me anything to actually love me outside of this moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that yeah, it's extremely important. So intentional intimacy. I stand by that in terms of that being something that helps us have a healthy marriage.
The wife, I can imagine feeling, because she feels like she's just an object, feeling used.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
at that point, it's for the spouse's pleasure, not considering like
it's not
pleasing.
It's for me, not
selfish.
for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so the whole friendship concept is important, because it's like, okay, if I know that for you to be like, you know, all into this you know, sexual moment with me, I know that it starts outside of the bedroom. And like I want that to get to a point for people that it's like, okay, like I don't just want to do this to get. Like I want to do this because I enjoy it. Like I want to go up, you know, behind my wife and tickle her and make her laugh, kiss her on the cheek, smack her butt. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever that looks like, going on walks in the park.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like car rides together, karaoke car rides. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever that looks like, and enjoy that, because when you enjoy that and she enjoys that, like you're just finding like the simple moments to enjoy, and that increases your marital satisfaction, because it's not just I come alive and I communicate when we're having sex for men.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, I'm prioritizing like, okay, how are you doing? Or I know that like you like to laugh, so I'm gonna tell some jokes. Like I'm a wop wop wop.
Okay.
Wop, 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 wop. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Like just the overall moments of connection.
Yeah.
It's all worth it. So anyways, that's my spill.
Okay, so the 5 things, we're going to run it back. So one is, this is what we stand on, our must-haves in our marriages and what has helped us to have a thriving, healthy marriage. One is having a marriage that's built on the Lord, Christ-centered foundation. 2 is house meetings that we have once a month. 3 is date nights. And 4 is communication. And then 5 is intentional intimacy,
Intentional sex.
intentional sex. So I'm telling you, like, these 5 things has been like really key to us having a healthy marriage. And no matter what's going on, we gonna make sure all 5 of them is happening, especially the first one. So
and the last one.
And the last one. Okay, so tell them about this marriage emotion. Do you want to share? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'll share.
All right. Marriage in
So,
motion.
as
It's
we
a marriage
kinda-
in motion.
As we kind of started off, Garcia,
You want me to do
Rochelle
my...
Garcia.
I know.
Don't
Don't put my BFF name out there like that. Not her whole government. Anyways, hey girl.
Listen, she lucky I ain't think of her middle name because I was just gonna say it
Oh my
too.
gosh, go ahead.
But so we talked about just habits. These are habits for us that help us have the healthiest marriage, help us have the most fulfillment in our marriage. And we want you to have those too.
Yes, we do.
So we want you to think about what habits do you have in your marriage? What habits can you implement in your marriage? And we just want you to think about one.
One, yeah.
Just one. What's one habit that you can implement in your marriage that will help you start to build a foundation? If you can't think of any, you can take one of ours.
Yep.
If you're like, okay, I want to take one of yours, but what would you suggest? Put Christ in the middle of your marriage.
Yep. It's the first one.
First one. And so we really want you to prioritize making habits in your marriage, because when you build on top of those, now you can get to a place of flourishing, and now you can start adding all the, just like when you have a house, you know what I'm saying? Like you need the foundation,
Yep.
and then you can build all the beautiful stuff. Now you can do all the chandeliers and stuff like
Walls,
that. Same thing in your
windows.
marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You build the foundation, and on top of that, now you can build all the beautiful things, and you can have the whatevers, you know. So just one thing that you can build your marriage on. And that's our marriage emotion challenge for you this week.
Yes. And thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell button so you don't miss a notification, and share this with someone you know who is married or engaged, want to be married, that could utilize the information that we shared, because this is how we have a healthy marriage that is thriving, and we believe that you can too.
Yep. Wop, 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 wop.
This guy.
See, she over here bugging out. She over here
till
bugging
next time,
out.
guys.
Worship and pray. Worship and pray.
Worship and pray.
Until next time.
Yes.
Peace.
Bye.
Always gonna love you and always. No doubt you're my blessing. Ain't no second guessing. No one can separate with